Chelsea currently sit in second place, only behind Liverpool in goal difference. Will the Blues fall short against the Hammers, or will they claw their way back to the very top of the pile? Watch until the end of the video to learn 4 things in which Chelsea need to do against West Ham United. Hello people, welcome to my channel, welcome to another video. This is my video where I'll be giving you 4 things in which the Chelsea first team need to do in order to beat West Ham United at the London Stadium in the Premier League today. So without further ado, let's get into those 4 things. So the first thing we need to do is that we need to minimise the amount of space available. So long story short, we need to keep our lines very close so that their attackers and their midfielders cannot find any space to penetrate and exploit, because if West Ham do find any space to penetrate and exploit, they'll most likely score some goals, because they do have some really good attackers and they do have some really good players all over the field. And Manuel Pellegrini is a different manager to David Moyes. He is much more expansive and he is much more dogmatic than David Moyes. So the first thing we need to do is that we need to minimise the amount of space in our defensive third and anywhere on the pitch. The second thing, and this is something that Chelsea have been struggling with for a very long while now, you guys know exactly what I'm going to say next, and the second thing is that we really need to learn how to be clinical, because against PAOK we were much the better side throughout most of the game, but we were just not clinical. We could have ended up finishing the game by, we could have ended up winning the game by 6-0, but we didn't, because we were very wasteful in front of goal, and we cannot do that against West Ham United, especially under Manuel Pellegrini, who I've already mentioned is far more dogmatic than their previous manager David Moyes. So we need to be clinical. That's the second thing. We need to be clinical. The third thing is that we need to take key players out of the game, simply because they do have some really good players. They are missing the likes of Manuel Lanzini, Winston Reid, Jack Wilshere, and they may be missing Marko Arnautovic, which is a big plus for us. But just because they are missing those players, it does not mean that they don't have talent on the pitch, or they don't have talent to replace the ones who are injured, because they have players like Felipe Anderson, Angelo Ogbonna, Pedro Obiang. I forget which one is the midfielder out of the two, I always forget, but they do have some really good players, so we have to take them out of the game. Because in relation to my first point, if we give them any sort of space in the final third in particular, then they will cause us trouble, because let's face it, our defence isn't at its strongest at the moment, because they are still getting used to Sarri's way of playing. So we have to not give them space, because they will exploit our weaknesses, and our weaknesses are at the back. So yeah, that's the third thing. Now the fourth and final point is that we really need to make sure that Eden Hazard gets on the ball as often as possible. This is related to the fact that he rested against PAOK, because he needed to be fresh, and we just have to hope that he is fresh, because when Eden Hazard is fresh, that is when he is lethal, and that is when he runs defenders ragged, that is when he tears defences apart, that is when he takes the absolute piss out of the goalkeepers, that is when he does what he does, and that is what he does. So we need to make sure that Eden Hazard gets on the ball as often as possible, so that we can score early and create chances and win the game. So that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all for my team sheet reaction, which will be done in less than an hour, as the teams are out in less than an hour. But I'll see you all very soon. Come on, you Blues, and peace. I cannot say this enough. Please beat West Ham United to return to the very top of the pile. Come on, Chelsea.